Hello and welcome everyone for this new lesson. Third secondary stage, the second semester. The title of this lesson is Unit 2 Writing. The name of this course is traveller6. This lesson prepared by Noura Sufyani and presented by Faisal Al-Shehri. Our today objectives. We have two objectives. Number one, to write an essay expressing opinion. Number two, to use an appropriate phrases in writing an essay. Alright, so we are talking about essay and how to write essay. And also we are talking about writing. Right? So this is the main ideas of our lesson for today, is how to write an essay expressing your opinion or even others' opinion. Also, you need to use an appropriate phrases and sentences in writing an essay, and how to connect between two or more than one sentence with the main idea of the paragraph or the main idea of the whole essay. Okay, in this slide we are going to warm up pros and cons. In your opinion, this is a question for all of you. In your opinion, what are the advantages of using the internet? Are there any disadvantages? So you can see in the bold font here, advantage, the word advantage, and the word disadvantages. All right. So let me just write it, underline probably. All right. So have you heard about the word advantages and disadvantages? Have you heard about that word? What is the meaning of the word advantage and the word disadvantage? If you know the meaning, and we want to know what is the advantages of the internet and what are the disadvantages also of the internet. All right, so keep in mind, you need to explain or to clarify or to convey the advantages of using the internet, and to show the other part is the weaknesses or even disadvantages of the using the internet. All right, we call this argument. You need to keep in mind how to explain a situation in different opinions. All right, an opinion essay. What is your opinion? This is usually in the essays. You need to explain your opinion. Sometimes you need to explain others' opinion. Let's say, for example, any subject like studying abroad or even studying in non-English speaking country, for example, any subject in your mind, for example, video games, try to explain the advantages, the strength. Also try to explain the disadvantages. All right, so your opinion means two sides of any title. Here we go, and please do not forget those tips. An opinion essay usually starts with introduction. You need to introduce the subject of essay, and you're supposed to know that the first sentence of any paragraph, usually we call it topic sentence, which means that give the whole meaning of the paragraph. Now, the same idea to some certain extent in the essay. We need to write the subject of essay in the first 2 or 3 sentences in order to divide the next 2 paragraphs into situations. So now introduction, introduce a subject to the essay, and then usually from 2 paragraphs to 3 paragraphs, but never less than 2. All right, this is, we called it the main part, and sometimes we called it the body of the essay. For example, let's say that we are going to talk about let's say traveling, okay, and you need to write 2 or 3 sentences in the introduction, explain your subject, which is traveling, and then you need to divide the first paragraph to, let's say, talk about the advantages of travel. All right, so choose 2 main aspects of the issues, group related ideas in 2 paragraphs, and support them with the satisfactions examples. All right, so you can explain, as I told you, the advantage in the first paragraph of traveling, and the second paragraph you need to explain the disadvantage. All right, you need to get trained on such a skill with yourself. You can read topics even through internet about how to write an essay, and you are going to get a whole and clear image about the writing essays. At the end of the opinion essay, we usually write the conclusion. So what is the conclusion? It's not a new information. The conclusion is summarize your points. Okay, and summarize your point doesn't mean that you need to repeat the same sentences. All right, all you need to do is just to hint to the main ideas that you are focused on in the subject, or even you're supposed to state your opinion about the subject, whether you like it or not. For example, let's say our subject is travel, and you mentioned the advantage and disadvantage. At the end, when you write the conclusion, you need to summarize the whole points in 1 or 2 sentences, and the third sentence of the conclusion, you might write your opinion about the whole subject or even the issue. All right, so this is the let's say the shape of the opinion essay. Now let's move to the practical part. Now we have a content. We need to know what is the situation is about. Now, young people today spend a lot of time using the internet. However, it is believed that they must be careful when using it because it can cause various health problems, and it is not always as reliable and safe as one may think. Okay, this is the whole situation. What we need now, discuss your opinion, supporting with example, or supporting it with the examples. Now, spending much time on the internet. For example, if you want to divide the words, the keywords, spend young people, internet, what else? What do you think? There is another keywords to the subject that might help us to write an outline before we go deeply in the essay. When we go to the disadvantage, here we go with the word problems. Okay. What else? We may look to the word safe. So all those words we call it keywords. It might help you in it might help you when you want to write an essay opinion. For example, the outline, you can write the introduction, the main part, which is 2 or 3 paragraphs, and then in conclusion, as we have discussed in the previous slide. All right, don't forget, when you think about such a subject, start by saying what the current situation or introducing the debate. Now, can you remember what was the subject in the previous slide? The one we have just read? We were talking about, if you can remember, the internet. So usually the first 2 sentences in the introduction, you need to start by saying what the current situation is or introducing the debate. All right, to give a general idea, not detailed. Just, for example, you are going to talk about internet. You are going to explain the advantage of internet, and also to explain and mention the disadvantage and the problems of the internet, especially in terms of time, spending time on the internet. All right. In the second paragraph, talk about advantages or reasons in favor. Use expressions like the first advantage, one advantage, and you need to mention your opinion or sentence after that. And also another advantage, or moreover, there's words supporting the opinion. All right. In the third paragraph, give the advantages. Give the disadvantages or reasons against the advantage. You can start by constructing the paragraph with one on the other hand. On the other hand, that means on the other side. That means the other perspective of the subject. That means we need to think in other way, not only in one way. All right. So this is going to help you even in your daily life when you look to things. Think about in 2 sides, not only in one side. Now, at the end, finally, as we told you, conclusion. Some of the main arguments using to sum up or in conclusion, or even to conclude. Give your opinion to, using expressions like I believe, personally, in my opinion. All these things express your opinion in one way or in another. All right, so don't forget such. I think this is very, very, very useful tips. What do you think you are going to see now? This is a model answer for the previous topic, and you can see the color now describing the main ideas we have talking about. Now, if I would like to ask you a question now, what does this sentence refer to? Is it main part, or conclusion, or introduction, and why? If you say main part, why? And if you say conclusion, why? And if you say introduction, why? In the essay opinion, can we write the conclusion in the beginning? Yes or no? Of course no. So we eliminate this, we exclude this option. Conclusion will not be never in the beginning. So we left with introduction and the main part. Can we write the main part without introduction? And most of you know that the main part comes in the second and the third paragraphs. So we cannot write main part without introduction. So the first sentence is the topic sentence, is part of the introduction, and then we go to second and third paragraph, which is the main ideas. At the end with the green highlighted is the conclusion. You need to keep this in mind. Please keep that in mind. Keep that you should understand the structure even before you try to write in English. Sometimes people or students have a good range of vocabulary, but they don't know how to start. They don't know how to, let's say, shape the essay. They have a lot of ideas. They don't know if their ways of writing is considered let's say, the right way or not. So once you know how to write the essays, how to write the opinion of essays opinions, so you are going to enjoy that later on, because we have millions of subjects. You can talk about anything. You can write about anything later on. If you are reading a lot of articles in any fields, in any majors, so you are going to be a good writer in that field once you know how to write the essay opinions, right? So keep in mind that we should start with introduction, paragraph, and then we go to main part, 2 or 3 paragraphs. At the end, we go with the conclusion. And usually in conclusion, we are not adding a new information. We just summarize the whole idea, and you can also state and you can also say your opinion if you wish. For example, in this sentence, you can read, spending time on the internet can have a negative impact on young people, but it is also has many advantages. Personally, and you can now, the writer state his opinion clearly. Personally, I think the internet is an incredible tool, and the benefit of the internet access outweigh the danger. So, however, we should be careful not to use the internet excessively. So, this is the last, let's say, the last sentence is the writer point of view about the whole subject. So it's coherent, and then also it's in the right way. It's a logical way, because you start with the introduction, and then you go to the main ideas, you go to the explanation of the ideas, you go to some details. At the end, you conclude, you summarize the whole ideas, and you can also state your opinion. I hope now it's clear for you all. It's just a matter of practice. Once you practice in reading subjects in different fields or majors, you might be able to identify that easily with the practice. All right. So if you want to test yourself, you need to practice with such a thing. Here we go. The government is considering banning the use of cell phones in public places. If passed, the new legislation will prohibit people from bringing cell phones to restaurants, cafes, etc. And any people found using one will have it confiscated. Alright, so some people don't agree, because they claim that cell phones have become a necessity nowadays, or even today. Write an essay expressing your opinion. So I think most of you now have an idea how to write an essay. What is our subject? You can see even the icon here. Maybe we can say mobile is not allowed, or mobile is banning, for example. Public places, people, all these keywords, also restaurants, cafes. So the main theme is banning cell phones or mobile phones is not allowed. Where? In the public places. Now we need to start with the introduction and also move to the mention the advantage of that banning. Also, the third paragraph, you need to mention the disadvantage of that banning cell phones in the public places. And the conclusion, you need all to summarize the whole ideas. All right, here we go with the summary. Now we've introduced the subject of an essay, how to write an essay, and also we explain how to go to the main part, and there is no main part without introduction. What you are going to do in the main part, choose the two main aspects, mention the advantage and disadvantage. At the end, we read how to write the conclusion by summarizing the points, and also you can state your overall opinion in the issue.